Orale, Cholo Trucker Mas Movies and Shows. And here we got the movie The Hill. I have never heard of this movie. Shout outs to my boy Fernando, who put me on game. He told me, hey, check out this movie. It's very inspirational. I've never heard of it. And I do like baseball, but you don't have to be a baseball fan to enjoy this one right here. So, this is a true story. Let me go ahead and read the description here. The true story of Ricky Hill, the son of a traveling pastor who overcomes physical obstacles to pursue his dream of playing baseball in the major leagues. Okay, so that pretty much sums it up. Man, like I said, I've never heard of this movie ever before until my boy Fernando told me about it. I went, checked it out, watched it with my beautiful, crazy local wife, and I gotta tell you guys something, man. I love this movie. I really enjoyed this movie, and the fact that it's a true story is even makes it even better. But I went ahead and I streamed it on what is it? Netflix. It's on a few streaming apps. When I went to go look for it, I found it in a couple places. Amazon Prime. I think it was on Vudu as well, but I think I watched it on Netflix though. So, man, this movie came out in August of 2023. It's the main actor, or I should say the actor that you're gonna recognize the most famous actor is Dennis Quaid. Outside of that, there's a couple of actors here and there where you're like, oh yeah, I've seen them in this or that. Outside of that, it's a bunch of actors I've never seen. But anyway, so the movie starts with him racing in his car. It's like, hey, where's he going? He's taking off. It looks like he's pissed off. And then he stops at a house. And is it a house or the church? Shoot, now I forgot. But he stops, he gets out of the vehicle and he looks, and then it goes back in time to when he was a little kid. And he did have an issue with his legs. Kind of reminded me of Forrest Gump. You guys remember when Forrest Gump had the braces on his legs? That's pretty much what young little Ricky Hill had on his legs. He had these braces on his legs. He couldn't walk right. But man, this guy could just swing a stick and hit rocks like far, right? And that's basically the first half of the movie is the struggles that he went through. Not only his physical struggles, right? I mean, he loved baseball. He loved baseball. There's nothing else he loved more except for the word. His dad being a preacher, first of all, they're poor as heck. They are really poor and really struggling. They're eating dinner, they're sharing cornbread and like a quarter cup of milk, and they're sharing it. But um, they're really poor, they're really struggling. And one thing about him, he loves baseball and he loves the word. He has so many verses in his head, right? That he can go ahead and apply to life. His dad is pretty strict, but at the same time, not abusive, right? At first, when I saw the trailer and I was gonna check it out, I'm like, oh, okay, there's gonna be an abusive father. And no, he wasn't abusive like that. I mean, he was strict, right? He's a pastor, and he didn't want his son holding on to false hope. He thought his son was made to become a preacher, but I'm sorry, to become a pastor, just like him, because he knew so much about the Bible, because he loved God, because he was, a God-fearing boy. I mean, he was a boy too. You know what I mean? Come on. But at the same time, man, he had this super love for baseball, and the dad just didn't approve of it. So here you got young Ricky Hill, who not only struggles with his legs and just his spine and him physically to play the sport of baseball, but he also struggles with obedience, with his father. It's like, I can't disobey my dad. There's this old school. close family, God-fearing family. And he struggles with that. He struggles with, I got to listen to my dad, but I have this love for baseball. So, that's kind of the first half of the movie. And then kids making fun of him and not wanting him to play because, he's a freak, because he's got braces on his legs. He can't move right. And then fast forward, and then he's kind of this young man, the way you see him right here in this picture, senior year in high school, and they run into money problems. And the dad still gives him a hard time. And I just got to tell you guys this, man. I won't give too much away of the movie, but I want to say gracias to my boy Fernando for recommending this movie. I would have probably never heard of it. And I want to make it clear, you do not have to be a baseball fan to enjoy this movie. It's bigger than baseball. And I want to say this too, man. To me, like I am a baseball fan. And I've said this all the time. Maybe not on YouTube, but I've said this all the time. Baseball is the sport that is played in heaven. And when I watch this movie and just bringing, baseball and the good word of the Lord together, man, it made it that much better for me. It really did. But hey, man, what a great movie that I would have never heard of. I'm glad I watched it. Rotten Tomatoes. Check this out. Rotten Tomatoes has this movie at 44%. Do what you will with that, but I'm telling you guys, this movie is definitely worth watching. Very inspirational. The fact that it's a true story, it inspires much more, man, because it's a true story. And man, I like this movie. I love this movie. I watched it with my beautiful, crazy looking wife, and we both said the same thing. This is a really good movie. Highly recommend The Hill. Cholo Trucker, M.A.S. Movies and Shows. To catch you guys on next one.